But there's some young people out there with a lot of guts, a lot of balls. They're going to stir it up. And they're going to elect Obama. They're going to elect some government officials. They're going to elect some senators and congressmen who will go in there and start doing the right thing for a while. And then you're right. In a little while, everybody will go back to sleep. And the guys will say, all right, we're going to let them have it for 4 to 8 years because look how we screwed it up. Let's back out of the way and let them have our problems that we created for a while. And we'll go over here and we'll reorganize and we'll think it over and we'll raise some more money and we'll go get it again.
I agree fully because Alex, we talked about history and how if you don't study history, the old cliche, you're deemed to repeat it. Well, look at my generation. And Willie's, we're the generation of the 60s. We were supposed to be the rebels. We were supposed to be the ones who were anti-establishment, the ones who learned from Vietnam, the ones that saw all this stuff go down. And yet what has happened to all of us? Where did we all go?
I was so proud of the peaceniks. I was so proud of the guys who got out there and fought against the war and come home from Vietnam and say, hey, that's wrong. But they went back to sleep.
That's right.
But you talked about
our generation. No. We're the generation supposedly we're in charge now. But yet when you go back, the hypocrisy. We were the generation that believed in free love. Now we're telling you abstinence. We're the generation that used drugs. And yet today we're fighting the biggest war on drugs in the history of the land. Exact opposite of what we were. We're the generation that should have known about war, that should have known about getting into a deceitful war. And yet here we're the leaders now, and we've taken the young people into the same thing that we did. And that's what troubles me the most. Where the hell are all the people? Did we all go to sleep? Did we all become born again Republicans? What happened to the Vietnam generation that ought to be in charge today, that ought to know better?
Let me just bring up what happened to peace on earth. I remember growing up that was what we were all taught was going to happen one day. I go to church and you've got the Prince of Peace, Jesus, he's going to come and there's going to be peace on earth for 1,000 years. I said, I can't wait. Yeah, where is it?
Well, let me just ask this question, and then we better move on down the road because I don't want to take too much of Willie's. I don't want to abuse his time, and we're very thankful for it. Specifically, though, you mentioned Super Size Me totally changing the fast food industry. I mean, it's just changed a lot. That's one film. Look at Loose... For now. But the point is, look at what Loose Change did. Over 100 million downloads for free online, and it woke up tens of millions of people worldwide.
Oh, woke me up.
So there's another example of individuals standing up, and young people, but everybody, and great elders like you guys, out there standing up. I mean, look, we know stuff's bad, but it'd be a hell of a lot worse if it wasn't for people like Willie Nelson and Jesse Ventura and folks like Dennis Kucinich. All I'm saying is, for everybody else sitting on their butts, be more like a Willie Nelson and get out there and do something.
Well, yeah,
but that's essentially the problem.
We do it, and hopefully something will change.
But the problem is this: everybody lives in their own little world, and if their own little world is not affected directly, they will ignore it.
But right now, with the economy sinking, their world is affected.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and gasoline, they are affected. Oh yeah, they're going to have to start growing their own vegetables again.
Oh yeah,
that's great. I'm glad to see them having to get out and dig in that soil and plant a seed and sit back and watch it grow. But that's America.
And hard times will force us to...
Where they've been is not American. Living on, 8 or 10 houses and 6 yachts and going off and starting these big corporations where they screw me and you out of money and they go overseas and spend it. That's not America. Now, I want to see one of those guys get out there and have to grow his own potatoes.
Well, I think that's another issue. Bring into justice corporate crooks, but they run the regulators now, so we have to get back control of the regulators so we can punish these crooks.
No, what we have to do is simpler than that. We have to stop electing Democrats and Republicans. And we have to start electing and destroying the system they've created that is so corrupt within itself that we're a two-party dictatorship now. And that, you know how I put it, Alex? Here's what you have today, and I do have a little experience on this. Politics in America today is identical to pro wrestling. And what I mean by that is, In front of the cameras and the public, we all hate each other. I'm going to kick my opponent's butt. I'm going to whale him from here to high water and beat the crap out of him. Yet behind the scenes, we all are friends going out to dinner.
Went to dinner together.
And it's all a work.
All intermarried.
Show business.
It's showbiz. And that's what you have today in politics. The Democrats and Republicans aren't really opposed to each other. They're all part of the same. And I can use as an example, Alex, the election of 2006. All right, up till 2006, you had a Republican Congress and a Republican president. Then along came the election of 2006, which was the war in Iraq. The U.S. people spoke clearly. They said, get us out of Iraq. So they elected the Democrats. The Democrats took both houses. And 2 years later, are we out of Iraq? No. Because the Democrats are spineless.
They're owned by the same corporate interests.
Exactly. And so... And when the Dems always look at me and go, well, wait, we can't get out. We can't override Bush's veto. And I look at them and go, but you control all the money. You don't have to override Bush's veto.
We're going to find out real quick.
All you have to do is, well, Obama's already fudging. He's fudged since day one in this election, where he first said we're getting out. Well, now it's a timetable, and now it's da-da-da. Because they're getting to him. They're understanding that, and he ain't going to be able to get him out because people more powerful than him got us in.
I mean, your life has been pretty interesting. You've seen a lot of things, a lot of different twisted turns. What do you see happening to yourself in the future? I mean, is there a run for president?
I don't know. I've learned one thing is that you never say never, but right now I would say no. To me, that would be one of the most difficult jobs I could imagine to undertake in the world. And I guess the tough thing for me, Alex, is this. I'm a very free spirit. And going for a job like that is doing the opposite. I've said this many times. Being the president's an oxymoron.
Yeah.
And here's what I mean. You're the head of the free world, but yet you yourself have no freedom.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. You're the head of the free world, but where is your freedom? You can't go anywhere without masses of people around you. Probably the only time you're alone is in your bedroom. I would guess that would be the only, or in the White House, I'm sure you could go to a few rooms there and be by yourself. But for the most part, you're never, ever, I remember when I left governor, how strange it was that day that I left office and I all of a sudden was naked. What I mean by that is no more protection. And it was weird because you went from being fully protected to the very next day when the new governor sworn into nothing.